Welcome back guys to another video where today we're going to be talking about kind of what I experienced yesterday, because sadly you guys weren't able to watch the live stream due to some technical difficulties. Basically my computer, it said it was connected to my hotspot, but clearly it wasn't, because I couldn't get onto my radar or host the stream. So that actually stopped right before we left to go to this storm, and then I think there was another storm as well. But I was able to capture a tornado, luckily, so that was quite cool. So we'll be talking about kind of what happened yesterday, and then also doing a little bit of a synopsis, kind of going over like the hail, tornado, and wind reports. We won't get too much into that, but just talking about, don't mind this right here. So this is basically what I experienced here, and you can actually see from this video, this wasn't actually the first tornado. This was technically the second one, and you can actually see it starts to rope in. The quality isn't that great. You can see the tornado touches down here, and as we go in the future here, it basically kind of starts to widen up here. But it, I think, actually dissipates. Does it dissipate in this video? I don't think it does, but you can kind of see it's, it's getting to the ground. It almost does a Gary, South Dakota here, where I think there might be a little bit of like a rope kind of sticking out of it. I don't think that's quite there, quite on the same level as Gary, North Dakota, but that one basically, this is a continuation of it right here. So you see it kind of lifted. I think it's still technically on the ground, but you see a little bit of debris there, but then it starts to recycle again. It produces a funnel, which I don't know if I got. You can see here, yeah, I think it's pretty much off the ground. There might still be a little bit of ground circulation. Let me see if I have a photo of that. Here we go. So this was the third tornado. The one that I just showed you, that was the second tornado. This one, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe there's a little bit of ground circulation, so that might have just been a funnel cloud. If it didn't quite hit the ground there. But the first one that Reed Timmer got, this is the one right here. Now Reed Timmer is currently right around that dust bowl right there. If you don't know who he is, he's basically a storm chaser. He intercepts tornadoes in his, what he likes to call a Dominator, or I think it's Dominator 3 now. And basically, yeah, so he was right around right here. He actually got some good videos of it. But as we go throughout, it actually starts to widen out. This is where I was getting a little scared, so I actually drive a little forward here. I was like, I think I was south of this, so technically it's going west to east, which was good because I was south of it. So this is kind of that, or I'm east of it. I'm southeast of it right now, and it just basically goes to my north. And you see here, it kind of just, I don't know if it quite stopped right here, but this is kind of the end of it. Maybe, I think there's still a little bit of ground circulation, but that's the first tornado that I saw, and then of course the second one, first one. Was there anything else we could actually look at? Oh, okay, it lagged for a sec. So this is kind of, we'll talk about kind of what exactly happened by looking at this. So this was kind of what I drove, or this is kind of like the roadmap here. So Owatonna, that's where our target location was, me and Peyton's target location. And then we decided to go to New Richland. We were kind of discussing that, because one thing about this, we'll talk more about this later, but the tornadoes that were along the warm front, there could have been tornadoes definitely along there, but they would have been weaker. These storms right here, the ones that are kind of north of the I-90 corridor and not quite on between the warm front, or they're not quite on the warm front, these ones, I believe, in my opinion, were going to be the most intense. And right here you can see that we went to Owatonna. We stuck in Owatonna for a while, and then that's where the stream started, or stopped, and then we went to New Richland here, basically rode on, I don't know which highway that is exactly, but we went to Mapleton. We'll talk more about this X mark right here, because I was actually on this section of storm for a while. There's actually a storm right here that I think later maybe produced, I think it was more along the warm front, but it was basically right in front of this storm. So it's kind of just maybe seeing, I'll show you guys photos of it, but basically it was kind of producing a wall cloud. It was developing, but it was very slow. So I was on that storm for maybe like 30 minutes, and I was like, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna go to where everyone else is. over on this storm, and we go through Mapleton once again, Amboy, and then we take a bunch of dirt roads. Hopefully my car is fine after that, but I think it is. Didn't go too fast on that. And then this is where X marks the spot. That's where we saw the tornado. I think just about go north of Truman. I think it actually started right just east of Truman, and it just goes to the west here, and then pretty much parallel to this road right here. It wasn't quite on the road, luckily, because there weren't many road options. So let's talk about kind of that first storm. I think this one, no, this isn't it. Which one is it? So this was the first storm. So basically we were on this for a while, and you can actually see like the bubbling. You can see the clouds start to bubble. That's what you're kind of looking for in terms of severe thunderstorms here. And you can see quite a bit of bubbling motion going on. And then as we go through the future, this is what it looked like. I mean, this first storm, this isn't the storm that produced the tornado. This was just the first storm that I was on. And you can see here that basically it was bubbling quite a bit. And this is lovely shots here. Now this wall cloud right here, this is a wall cloud. It was still developing quite a bit, but if anything, if a tornado were to develop, it would have been in this region. And I think as we go through the future, you can see I don't know if that's just the tail end of a cloud, but that definitely looks like a lowering, just a little bit of a lowering right there. I don't know if it's just the angle of where this camera was taken, but basically that's a wall cloud right there, potentially right there. And there was scud too. You can see a little bit of scud on the inside, and then also that usually when you see scud, especially rising scud, which is basically just, it's poofs of clouds. Basically if you take apart cotton and then just spread it everywhere, that's kind of what scud looks like. It's just pieces of clouds that look like pieces of cotton, almost like taking apart cotton. So yeah, that's basically the first storm first storm I was on. Didn't really do anything. It took really, this is my first time ever chasing like a discrete supercell mode. There was May 15th, I think a couple of years ago, or not a couple of years ago, a year ago, almost a year ago, where there were still supercells, but they were smushed together. This was the first time I was actually chasing pretty discrete supercells, and usually you don't see these. Usually these are mostly in April or maybe even May, but sometimes we don't get those risks in April and May. I mean, this was definitely a pretty nice storm here. Now this one was coming, this was driving up to the second storm. This was the one that produced a tornado, and you can see it. That's basically, so that's where all the hail and rain is. And fun fact, this storm produced I think 2.5 sized hail, which is absolutely crazy. But you can see here, this is kind of the region that you're looking for in terms of tornadoes. I think there's a storm behind it, so it kind of, the darkening right there, I think that also might just be some just wrapped, or just some rain around the development region or of the tornado there. But that's where, right over here to your right of the road, that's where all the hail and rain is. And then right here is kind of that development region. And then as we get closer here, you can actually see, look at the, so you can't quite see because it was quite milky yesterday, like the skies were quite milky. But you can see here, look at how it towers up. I think I actually have a better photo, do we? Yes, we do. So basically, this is a sideways photo, so you might have to turn your head. But here's the development region once again here. Pretty clear over there. But as you go as you go up here, you can see the cloud like start to almost form an anvil. That's what you often see with these kinds of supercells, or any supercell in general here. And you can see here like how it towers up. You can see bubbling clouds and stuff. It was quite hard with the milky skies, but you can kind of see it right here. But yeah, that development region right there. And then here's kind of, this is where I was pulling up, and you can see my windshield is very dirty at the moment. I believe that might have been a wall cloud, but like this was the main development region right here. So if I were to see a tornado and it happened later, or it happened earlier before I even got there, I would have been able to see it by from quite a bit away. Like I could have seen the tornado if it was right here. I think it was like 30 miles away. This is a nice photo that I took. So this was actually, I think 15 minutes, maybe 15-30 minutes before the tornado actually touches down here. And you see that it's actually looking quite interesting. I was like, yeah, this doesn't look too good in terms of this is going to be a strong tornado, because you can see like the wall. I mean, this is technically, it's not a well-defined wall cloud, but you can see that there's a little bit of a lowering, especially over here in this region right here. But as you're pulling up to it, yeah, I mean, it is just crazy. This was super wide too. You can kind of see it in perspective with these power lines here, but that's the main development region. So if a tornado were to happen, it would have happened right here, and it did. This is when I was getting closer to it. So this is actually, I think I'm like this is 5 minutes before it initiates right here. And you can see a much better, well-defined wall cloud right here. And this is kind of where that tornado develops here. And I think as we go through, yeah, you can see the lowering here. So what you're looking for in terms of wall cloud is it looks kind of like a brick almost. It's technically a circle, but the way you look at it, it looks like a brick kind of lowering. And you see here, like if I were to outline it, kind of you got that side going down, then a flat area, and then you go straight back up into the cloud. So that's kind of what you're looking for in terms of a wall cloud there. And then as you go through, this is rotating as well. I don't know if that's Scud. I think that just might be, I don't know if that's Scud. I think that just might be my windshield. But if that's rising Scud, that's also an indicator of tornado stuff going on. But this is when I was pretty close to it. I think I actually had to jump south because of this, because I was like, I don't know exactly where this is. I mean, it's going east, but is it going to shift southeast or east? Luckily, I did have a south road option. I was on the south road, so if I had to shoot south, I could have easily done that. I even pointed my car. This video right here kind of shows the turning of it. I don't know if it does it very well. I mean, you guys see it, like, let me get my cursor out the way. You can kind of see it start to rotate. If you look closely, I mean, it was definitely, here we go. Maybe, you can kind of see it rotate. I mean, you can kind of see that Scud going around there. It's not the best video, but if you see a rotating wall cloud, it usually means that tornado is in development. Oh gosh, where was I? So many photos in here, it's like lagging my screen. Here we go. And then of course that's where that tornado developed. So it actually touched down there. I just showed you guys that video. And then yeah, after the tornado, so after it, this is kind of what it looked like. This is what the wall cloud looked like after. This might have just been a lowering, but it was still tornado warned. But now it was merging with other storms, and usually when a supercell merges with other storms, especially with how many storms are out there and initiating, like weekend quite a bit. But you can clearly see here kind of a wall cloud right here. Do I have a better photo? Yeah, this is a lot better here. You can kind of see that main development region right here. So if a tornado were to happen again, there could have been some ground circulation over here. It's kind of hard to tell, but that was kind of the backside of it. And then yeah, this one right here, you can definitely see a little bit of that. This photo right here was taken while driving. Don't worry guys, I'm safe. This was basically just, well, so basically my webcam, I don't know, I don't have it quite, but you can literally have it like this, like you can hold on to it. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then yeah, you see here, this was a storm. I had to navigate through a couple of storms to go back to St. Cloud here, and this was kind of one of those storms. This wasn't quite, I mean, this was just a lowering that I saw. I was like, if, you know, kind of cool, I guess. Was it going to produce a tornado? Probably not. Because I think this was pretty much along the warm front here. So this was mostly a hail producer. I don't know. I think it was ping pong sized hail, so 1.5 inches right there. And you see that white. This isn't the sky. That's literally all that rain getting dumped down in the downdraft region. So quite crazy. If there was a tornado, I think it would be more. It's kind of out of frame here. But I don't think there would have been one. This was kind of cool. So when I was going through kind of a little bit of a valley or a lake here, look at how much fog there was. This is quite cool. I kind of like this photo here because when I was driving through the section of road, you couldn't see the other side of it because it was just so foggy. So that was kind of cool. But that's because of like these supercells are taking up a lot of moisture and temperature. So it's actually decreasing the temperature rapidly. and then to match the dew point. So that's why you're seeing a lot of fog. I've never seen this before, but it was quite cool. But here, if you notice this is all hail. So not, I don't know how long it's been, or like how long after, before this tornado, or before this picture was taken, when the hail fell down, but this was actually decently sized. I think I have actually have a photo. Yeah, this one right here. If I were to guess, this is probably under 2 inches. This is probably, I mean, if you were to measure it from my palm to probably just about almost my tip of my finger, I think that would probably be around maybe 1.5 to 2 inches. It's not quite baseball size, but you can clearly see like there's quite a few of them right here. But this was really cool to see. This is my first time ever touching. Like, this is probably the biggest hailstone I've ever held in my hand. Because usually you want to avoid hail, but this was already falling down. This already fell down like maybe 30 minutes ago. But this could have been like 2.5 inches or 3 inches because they could have just melted. It does look like it did melt a little bit. And then here's that kind of lake shot right there. Technically you weren't supposed to park there, but I parked over to the side luckily, so I wasn't going to get rear-ended in the fog. Kind of a cool picture here. I mean, just the sun was coming from the west, of course, and just shining all over these clouds here. And I think that's pretty much it. And then you have this. I mean, that's basically that. I think I've already shown you guys that. That picture right there. Just to explain, so the RFD is the winds that wrap around the tornado, or it's the downdraft around the tornado. So basically you have all this wind rushing around the tornado. It's not the tornado itself, it's the wind rushing around it. Sorry. And basically it was so strong that it basically got rid of my hairline. So my forehead was completely exposed to the elements. So that's how strong the winds were. I think honestly I've never experienced winds that strong before. I was calling my brother. I could barely hear anything. But yeah, I was south. I was like a mile away from the tornado or something like that. So I mean, to give you retrospective, this is, if I can load it, this is how far it was away from the tornado. Like probably this dirt road, and then there's another dirt road. This is how far away I was from the tornado, but that RFD was just wrapping around. So who knows how strong that RFD was if you go just to that crossroad over there in the distance, or even got a little closer. I think 100-mile-per-hour winds was definitely probably a guess of how strong the winds were. I mean, it was strong. It literally pushed my hairline back. In terms of tornado, actually no, let's go into this one. So this is basically what the storm looked like. I don't know who posted. I'll give you credit. Right after we're done doing this, 2.5 inches here produced by this storm, and you can see that rotation. That's Truman right there. So I think it went north of Truman. Here, that's basically, I was around this location right here, so I was going this way slightly, maybe a little bit to the southeast, just a little bit, but I think it was going mostly directly east here. And you kind of see that's not me. This is actually from, let me see here, who is this from, if I can pull out, Jason Wingart. So thank you, Jason Wingart. Just credit for him, just because I just needed a photo that do that, and I guess it's done. So shout out to Jason Wingart for the kind of radar thing. So that was kind of cool. In terms of hail, tornado, wind reports, mostly I think the wind reports were mostly situated in like southern Wisconsin with that. So basically what the storms did is they basically formed a line after there's so many of them. They just grouped together, formed a line of storms, and that mostly produced a hail threat or a wind threat going down here. There were still some storms that produced, I mean, there were quite a few storms that produced quite significant hail. These black triangles here, or these just black in general, shapes right here, those are hailstones, I think in excess of 2 inches. Yeah, 2 inches. And then these red dots here, that's the tornado reports. I believe I was on that one, or maybe that one. I think it was that one, and then maybe there was another tornado report. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, that will pretty much do it for that. So let me get my cool picture of the tornado again. So hopefully you guys liked it. Like this video. I definitely enjoyed doing it. Just a little bit of retrospective. I'm going to try to get the stream to work again, or possibly this Friday I might be storm chasing. So we'll see. Quite a bit of an active pattern currently and especially a great one. So yeah, I'll try streaming. I'll try to get that fixed because I mean, I was kind of sad because you guys missed out on this, or you missed out on the stream. Luckily you got missed by the tornado, hopefully. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys later. I'll be talking more about that potential threat on Friday. I did do a YouTube short on it, so that kind of went into the very basics of it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.